My name is Dor. I'm a PhD student, and I'm also a peer in an open source project called Rhizi. Rhizi is a new type of document. It's a bit like Google Docs for knowledge graphs. It's a way for people to model information in graphs. It's also a way for people to connect between open annotations using a new interface. The word Rhizi comes from the Greek word rhiza, which means root, because we believe that knowledge that is alive comes from the roots, comes from people. So there should probably be some sort of like an 80s montage music, because in the last year I've been traveling the world and identifying groups of developers and people who did all sorts of open source projects that's been trying to solve the same problems that we were trying to solve, and approaching them and tell them, look, this is a big problem. How can we make everyday people build graphs or build knowledge graphs? And it was a big success because people understood that in order to do something that can be really great, in order to solve big problems, we need to unite and work together. So we assembled a great team of developers that from backgrounds that worked in places like Palantir and Red Hat, PhDs in quantum computing, engineers from MIT, a strong group of Israeli developers that have decided to basically ditch their early mock-ups and prototypes and work together to build this new type of document. So I want to talk about the spreadsheet. A spreadsheet gives normal people superpowers. It gives an everyday man the ability to form data into tables and to do all sorts of operations that before that it just wasn't possible for him to do. Before someone made an easy interface to him to interact with table data. And that's basically what we want to do, to enable everyday man to interact with graphs. And by giving people the ability to easily connect between things, we want to basically provide an easy way for people to connect the web. Right now, using like hyperlink technology, people simply cannot link one thing to another that they don't own, that they don't have a right permission. And the vast majority of humanity is excluded from the ability to build the web, to be part of constructing the web and taking control of how it's organized. And with open annotations, we have this opportunity to achieve this. So I'm going to show you a demo. It's going to be pretty silent because I can't really multitask. I'm just going to shout out various features, and I hope you will excuse me for being a bit silent. So first of all, how do you input in this type of document? So it's like a tweet. So I can go like, I did a little so I did a bit of an error here. I can go and delete it. And of course, this is an early prototype. We've been working on it for a month and a half. Right, maybe it's not like a drill for testing my ability to type fast. Actually, I made a mistake because it should be with a big O. Okay. So. Okay. Let's delete it. As you see, I just showed you that it's all like a wiki, that you can go and edit all the content there. So let's do it again. Okay, so as you see, it's to create this graph is easier than making a tweet. But another interesting thing you can do is that you can connect annotations. So here, there's already a few annotations that are connected. This is the quote. This is the URL. And let's say I want to add something new. So I can go to, let's say, the annotation working group. And I've connected an annotation. So how do I connect between two annotations? I just connected two fragments online. So we started to, so it's like a nice abstract thing, but does it really solve like practical problem in our world? So one big problem when you have like a very large open source project distributed around the world is that it's sometimes hard to understand who knows what. And if you have a problem and you need to ask someone to help you, how do you do that? So you can. So this is like a different instance. We started a new document. Okay, I'm going really fast now. So CSS, and I can see all the team members that know CSS, and in what kind of context do they know CSS. And I can also look at me and see what other kind of things do I know if I'm in the same room with myself and I need to ask a question. Another thing I wanted to quickly show you is that we have also developed an interface for mobile. This is the same data set. So you can go to me again, and you can easily see what I know, and I can navigate it in a touch screen, in mobile. It doesn't have to be a graph, the interface itself. Just the underlying logic can be a graph. Another thing that's interesting is that it's embeddable. So a Global Scholars Network is a group of scholars from around the world that's doing all sorts of benevolent activity. So they build a map, and they just embed it on their own website for other people to navigate and use and see what kind of connections they are making. So I'm just going to run through some interesting use cases using this technology. Collaboration we're working with Phil from Harvard X is we're prototyping a way to turn all knowledge in online courses into something that you can interact with. That students can basically develop their own map of knowledge on top of online courses, connect between fragments of videos to text, to raise questions, and basically develop an open layer above the web. And if you can do it in online courses, you can do it anywhere else. Another thing is a system we're prototyping. We're working with a lab in Institute Pasteur and in Stanford to allow people to rapid publish their scientific innovations. Instead of publishing a narrative, a publication 2 years after the fact, people can publish in less than 2 minutes as a form of a nano-publication, a scientific fact, straight from the lab to the web, as open link data. So that's about it. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope there's time for questions.
During the demo, you weren't really typing in free-form text, were you? It seemed like all of your sentences were structured like binary relations or something.
No, it was free-form text. It was free-form text.
So it just extracted all of the tagged entries and made arbitrary links between them?
So we strongly believe that in this kind of document, it's important that it's customizable and it's easily adapted to specific use cases. Each specific community needs a different interface. Some people prefer to use free text. Some people need some kind of more structured ontology. Some other people would prefer tags. So we give people the choice every time they start a new document to decide what's best for them. We don't try to make a one solution fits all.
Yeah, on the subject of free text, how does that work internationally? Are there good free texts like extraction libraries available for other languages besides English?
It already supports all languages. You can directly add, I don't know, I did a map in Hebrew a few weeks ago, I had no problem. I think it should support various languages.
Are you using some open source library to do that?
It just built. It was just built. I don't know the specific library we're using, but right now it just works. So if it works, it works.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.